Maitima here. You are brainwashed. Many of the briefs you hold at very moment, they are most likely don't come from you. They were given to you even without you realizing. As Edward Bernays said, we are governed, our mind are molded, our taste formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. Now, who was Edward Bernays and why would he say this? And why should we listen to him when he does? Edward was an Australian-American pioneer in the field of public relation and propaganda. He was referred to as father of public relation. He applied insight from his uncle Sigmund, theories of physiological tactics, and he manipulated media to influence public opinion. This is what TV, politicians, companies want to sell you. This shows that what we are exposed to is so powerful. Our perception of something can be formed by just being exposed to a certain idea and being told that something is good, bad, or something else. This is done through repetition by planting images and messaging and so on into subconscious mind. They don't call it TV programming for no reason. This is why someone like Edward Bernays was able to convince the masses that smoking was a great thing to do. Now we know there are few worse things you could possibly do for your health and longevity. Why am I telling you this? It is simple. We can use the same ideas that have been used to take advantage of us to our own advantage. Take a moment and say that again. By reverse engineering them and brainwashing ourselves, so to speak, in order to better ourselves, reinforce ideas that help us and allow us to become who we want to become instead of being molded by others who want us to become basically people that serve them. And belief is a simple thought that you keep thinking. And to make this very simple, unbelief is a thought you have thought over and over again and have emotionalized to such point that it has become rooted into your subconscious as a belief. The feeling you have behind your belief or behind your thought are what really make all the difference. This is why a certain belief will trigger you and trigger an emotion which we can consider just energy and emotion more than other things. Some thoughts came into your head throughout the day and have no impact, while other thoughts will come in and you will get very emotional about or certain thing in your external environment will cause you think a certain way that you get very emotional. This is because the feeling behind the thought is what really propels it into becoming a belief. This is why when you start thinking in a pattern type of a way that you may think in most days of your kind of your wake yourself up, take a notice, you will notice that it is always coupled with an emotion. You are rarely there in a neutral state, just thinking about things unconsciously without emotion attached. When Edward Bernays worked with tobacco industry, he always looked at a certain idea with strong feeling like freedom. This is what he used for tobacco in particular, because people time and time again were exposed to this idea that cigarette would make them free. Now, what is very interesting about our belief is they really do paint our world and create a reality. And this is why. Because you have what is called the reticular activation system. Now, the reticular activation system is essentially something that tries to reduce the workload of your conscious mind, because in your subconscious mind you have all the pattern, all the beliefs, but if you are trying to consciously juggle all that in the same time, you would go crazy. This is what the reticular activation system is doing. If you ever noticed when you let me give you a good example of how this can work and how we can change this if you have been excited about something. Let's say you wanted to get a new car and you are very excited about prospect of getting that car, and you believe you could get it. Like you are not throwing any doubt, but you are very excited about it. You may start realizing that you are seeing that car everywhere now, and even the car that you wanted to get it. Why is that? Because you kept thinking about that car, you attached it to a feeling which was excitement, and so it become this belief. And then RAS, so okay, this something is important in your subconscious. Now you want to continue showing them and making them aware when this car is about. So you start seeing it more. In the past, that car was probably going past you almost frequently, but you just did not even notice it. Essentially, your reticular activation system is continually looking for evidence to confirm your current worldview. Now, realize I did not say continually looking for evidence about what is actually true. It is continually looking for evidence about what is true towards your current worldview. Not truth with capital letter T, but it is true based on your current own view determined by your belief and your subconscious. That means if your own view is one that sees and paints everything negatively, it will find the evidence to confirm that truth. But on the opposite end of spectrum, if you're someone who has many positive beliefs and think about things in a very positive way, it is going to do the same for that as well. It is going to continue bring you the evidence of why you should be grateful or why you are abundant and why you are healthy in the same way. It can either be our best friend in that way or our worst enemy if it is more on the negative side. But we can also deliberately start uprooting some of these beliefs that are causing this negative sway and start planting beliefs that are going to get you into a positive, which will end up bringing you more than you want in your life. This obviously will act as self-perpetuating feedback loop. If we don't do something about it, you will have and believe that life is a struggle. For example, because you are exposed to this idea repeatedly, paired with strong emotion, it was turned into a belief that your RAS then let in more of because it was deemed important, which provide more evidence of it being true. And now you have even more conviction that this is the case because your RAS is literally not allowing the evidence to the contrary into your attention. So now you are going to go over how to break this cycle and create new pattern to actually serve you in the next part, because it is crucial you understand how beliefs are formed, what's really going on in the background. Reverse engineering this is so that we know how to build the belief we actually want. Keep in mind that we never rise above the opinion of ourselves, which is why it is crucial to restructure ourselves and give ourselves belief and create belief of ourselves that are empowering instead of disempowering. Again, our RAS is not here to screw us over. It is actually an amazing tool. It is just working with what we give it. So, how do we go about changing our beliefs? There are a few things we can do, and I want you to keep in mind. The first thing is to give more importance and more attention to the vision than the physical circumstances. Because of your current physical circumstances are probably going to continually give you evidence to reinforce the negative belief you currently have. The RAS will then provide more evidence that it is it is the case, and again we get into perpetuating group. So you want to give more loyalty to the vision than physical circumstances. And I believe this quote comes from Neville Goddard, which is why he always talk about assuming the feeling of wish fulfilled. Because if you are thinking about certain thing that help you assume that the feeling of what is actually you actually want in your life versus what is already in the physical circumstances. Well, the all is again going to create a belief around that. It will play off that belief and then start providing you with the evidence that belief is true. As you actually giving more loyalty to the vision than physical circumstances, it will cause you think more about the vision in which you are excited about. This will create an elevated feeling about it, and it will start creating the belief about which will again start to change your reticular activation system. What we can do is just become more conscious and start cutting ourselves off really interrupting the pattern when a certain negative thing are occurring. One thing you wanna keep in mind is what you are voting for. Essentially, the more thought you have and you entertain and you let it go through the whole process that are negative, that are vote towards that belief. If you start speaking to yourself more from the positive, you start reaffirming that you start feeling the excitement towards those things. You start really creating those beliefs and cutting off their other beliefs that so they can't fire and wire more. Create more neural connection. You will notice that this thing will begin to change. Start brainwashing yourself through positive media. What I mean by this is videos, books, coaching program, courses, and things of this nature that you can tune into and almost let do the work for you. That essentially, if you just give it your attention and just do your best to learn from it, what are you going to be thinking about? Let's say you are going through a certain coaching program and they are showing you like the best tools and things that are high on the conscious scale energetically. Well, now suddenly you are being brainwashed over that energy. You are now thinking of this thing. There are now thoughts and they are being recreated in you in the same way brainwashing and being used through TV programming that you have watched and paid attention to. You can reverse brainwash yourself, so to speak, by exposing yourself more often than you do other things. Remember, the only difference between propaganda and education really is in the point of view. The advocacy of what we believe in is education, and the advocacy of what we don't believe in is propaganda. So, let's keep this journey going together. Continue to explore the benefit of speaking to yourself and share your experience in the comments below. Your story inspires not only me, but everyone in this community. Thank you for being part of this incredible journey. Remember, your voice matters and your support make all the difference. Until next time, bye.